Hey Green Wave fans, it's Troy Dannen, the Ben Weiner Director of Athletics here at Tulane University, and it's episode 7 of Wave Talk. This has been an opportunity for me to meet with some coaches, some former coaches, some of our student athletes, Greg Stewart, Gabe Feldman from our university, to talk about issues of the day. And today we're meeting with Jeni Griffin, one of our student athlete swimmers. More importantly, maybe for the purposes of today's discussion, she's president of SAC, chair of SAC, and SAC is the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. That is basically the liaison group between the student athletes and the administration to make sure that what we do and the program we put on reflects the needs, the interests, the wants, the desires of our student athletes. And so Jeni has a very significant role, let alone trying to get her degree at Tulane University in public health, I believe, let alone trying to be a competitive swimmer. And we're going to talk about all of those extra burdens. But as we get into it, Jeni, I want to welcome you and say thanks for joining us.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for having me. I'm excited for this opportunity to talk with you today.
So I know a little bit about you. I know you're a California native, so you're a long way from home. And I also know, this is a year of adversity, right? We've talked about that with COVID and all the other things. One of the things that's intriguing to me that I think everybody would be fascinated to hear, I don't think anybody's probably been in the midst of more adversity maybe than you this year. I understand maybe your parents came in just before the hurricane and you were maybe your home's in the middle of the wildfires. You want to talk a little bit about growing up maybe in California and kind of that transition and maybe all this adversity, from COVID to the wildfires and how that's impacted you.
Yeah. Well, like you said, I'm from Lake Forest, California, which is just inland from Laguna Beach. And so growing up, I lived not far from the beach, which was really awesome. I like to surf. My brother and I would surf a lot. But I do live backed up to a nature reserve where we have experienced some wildfires. And so right around when Hurricane Zeta hit us here in New Orleans, there was a wildfire that was actually burning right around my house, and my parents had to evacuate for the firefighters to come in and help resolve the fire. And there's definitely been a lot of adversity from dealing with that to COVID and just everything this year has brought. And if I've learned anything from this year, though, it's actually something that Leah, my coach, has taught us, and it's just to make the most of whatever situation you're given. And so I've just been continuing to just focus on what I can control, which right now is doing well in school, doing the best I can for SAC, and being a good student athlete and teammate.
One of the people we've talked to on here is Leah, and as a lot of people will remember, she was diagnosed with cancer at the beginning of last season, and so last year was a struggle as she was in and out trying to be at practice, and that's a different level of adversity. And then what most people don't realize, probably that are watching this now, is you also don't have a pool this year. With COVID, one of the things that there was some repairs necessary, and so between COVID and the necessary repairs, the pool on campus in the Riley Center has been closed. And so our swim team take a number of buses at different times through the day and head across town to practice. So it's been a fall certainly like never before. How does the team hold up? How do you rally one another in those situations to keep everybody's spirits high?
Yeah, well, it definitely was a difficult situation this year when we found out that we were going to have to bus to our new pool, but our team has really dealt with some adversity these last couple years, and so it was just another roadblock, but it was a roadblock that we were able to overcome. We were still able to have a pool to train in, and that was the most important thing. So we're just all helping each other, continuing to work hard, and again, just control what we can control.
So maybe switching gears a little bit, with all of that background, your role as chair of SAC is is kind of the de facto president of the student athletes, if you will. And I know there are regular meetings, but SAC has a lot of initiatives this year with the racial injustice, the social justice issues. That's brought yet another thing to the table that the student athletes have been dealing with. I know the election brought a lot of things the student athletes were dealing with. And SAC's initiative over the last few years, and I think really led by Kate Simpson, a former swimmer who preceded you in this role a couple of years ago, has been mental health. And how do we make sure we're keeping everyone in not just physically in good shape, but mentally in good shape? You want to talk a little bit about where SAC is at right now and what it is you've been dealing with, and maybe we'll go from there.
Yeah, so both of what you talked about are like the social justice initiative and the mental health initiative. Those are two pretty significant initiatives that we work on in SAC. And the mental health initiative, we call it Powerful Minds. That's an initiative that I'm particularly passionate about because it's part of what got me into SAC. Actually, Kate Simpson was a former teammate of mine, and she helped me my freshman year when I was struggling with some anxiety with my sport, and she helped me access resources at Tulane that Tulane had to offer, which really helped me. And so I knew I wanted to be a part of that initiative to help other student athletes who might be struggling. And so with SAC, we have our Powerful Minds initiative where we really promote resources to the student athletes that Tulane has to offer. We focus on social media and bringing in a mental health speaker every year to speak to our student athletes. And this year with COVID, it's definitely been a little bit of a challenge because we like to host events where student athletes can come learn more about mental health and interact with each other, and we haven't really been able to do that. So a lot of this year has been guided by social media, but it's still a very important initiative that we've had. And then our social justice initiative, that was really started over the summer when we had a lot of conversations with the school about how we wanted to improve our athletic community here at Tulane and make it more diverse and inclusive. And so this year, SAC has really been trying to support the efforts of our Diversity Council, and we really wanted to increase voter education. That was a really big initiative that we worked on this fall.
One of the things that maybe I skipped over it, but could you kind of enlighten everybody? You know, SAC is not just one or two. It's a large group. Can you talk about the membership of SAC and how it's comprised?
Yeah. So SAC is comprised of some student athlete representatives from every team, at least two, but some teams have a few more representatives as some are bigger. And yeah, these student athletes, we all meet once every other week, and we talk about kind of four main initiatives, which include the diversity initiative, Powerful Minds, and then connecting with campus, so how we can connect with the student body better, and team building, which is just building the community between athletes in different sports.
One of the things that folks maybe don't understand fully is how important SAC is to us in the administration and then to the campus. You know, I go back to just per diems, you know, the money that's paid when student athletes are traveling or when they're here and there's no food service open, and, you know, initiatives like that things got called to our attention that were really causing a burden and that we're able to address them. So it's a very, very important group. It's you know, if you talk about who does the athletic director listen to and who does my staff listen to, I think one of the loudest voices, if not the loudest voices that we hear, is coming from SAC. So I feel like, you know, we do end of year evaluations. Every student athlete has a chance to evaluate their programs at the end of the year, and it's usually between that and the responses from SAC. It's really how we alter the course of the department from an internal standpoint to make sure, you know, the part that we really control for you is the experience, and we want the experience to be great. So appreciate what you do with SAC. Talk a little bit about what's happened on campus this year. I think everybody knows, you know, Tulane's one of the few institutions who was really almost fully on ground, almost fully in-person classes. But yet there were a lot of online, there were a lot of temporary buildings. I mean, can you talk about or explain to people what was a little bit different this year and how it worked, how effective this fall semester was for you educationally?
Yeah. Well, I was really excited to find out I'd have the opportunity to go back to campus, not only to train, but also to go back to some in-person classes. And it definitely has been a different look this year, though, in terms of my academic schedule. And a lot of the classes have been held as hybrid classes, where a couple days a week you'll go to class in person, and then a couple days a week it will be online via Zoom. And so when we go to the in-person classes, we all have to wear our masks, and the desks are a lot more spaced out. And also the professors stand behind plexiglass walls and whatnot when they're teaching. And so it definitely has looked a lot different this year, but the professors have really adjusted well to this new Zoom environment. I think it seems like they spent a lot of time over the summer figuring out the software, as did I. And so we're still able to have that collaborative environment that's really important for education.
And we're on Zoom here. It's a different world for all of us. I don't have a meeting with more than one person in my office. I haven't in several months, and we're all trying to avoid, if there's a positive case, taking down a lot of others from a close contact situation. I was joking with someone about how many COVID tests I've had this year. How many, Jeni, do you think you've had so far, COVID tests?
Yeah, I don't know if I could put a number on that. I've definitely been tested quite often.
I know some of the football players that came in June are well over 100 tests, which is remarkable. But I think our student athletes have done a great job. We had to have two things in order for COVID not to invade our programs. One is everyone had to follow the protocols and live a life that's not the life of a normal college student. And I think our student athletes have done a wonderful job with that. Two, we had to have a lot of luck. And I think both of those things have been the case. And that goes back to the leadership of SAC and the leadership the student athletes has had among themselves to make sure that we put ourselves in a position to be able to continue to practice and play throughout the fall and now going into the spring. Swimming is one of the sports that's ongoing right now. You've had a couple of meets. You'll be active here over the break. The two basketballs and swimming are the three active programs over holiday break. Tell us what lies ahead. What should we expect out of the swim team for the last 2/3 of the season?
Yeah, well, we're back on campus training, working hard, and we're looking forward to a couple meets this winter. Pretty soon here in the next couple months, we'll be looking forward to conference, which is in February. And so while it's been a year of adversity, we've been able to keep training and working hard. So we're really looking forward to hopefully a successful conference this year.
Well, everybody wishes you the best, and we all understand kind of what the swim team and you in particular have some additional things, but there's been a lot of diversity in the swimming program, but I think we're all very proud of where the program is at right now, and not every team, not every group can overcome the adversity that swimming's had to, but you all have done a great job, so congratulations. What lies ahead? There's you're going to walk across a stage, hopefully, and not have a virtual graduation, but I know that's ahead in the spring. Then what? Where do you head from there?
Yeah, well, I actually spent this summer and fall working on applications for law school. So I've applied to a couple law schools, and I'm hoping to attend law school and pursue a career in that respect pretty soon here.
Do you have a law specialty? Anything we should know about? Anything we should be careful about?
I'm not completely decided yet, although I am interested in health law as I've been studying public health at school here. But I want to keep my options open, and I'm looking to go back to California and be closer to my family, so we'll see.
Well, I hope the Tulane experience has been great for you because we've been blessed to have you here. You've been a great leader for us, both in the pool and certainly in your role in SAC, and we thank you for that. Wish you the best the rest of the season and the team the best. And whatever lies ahead for you, don't ever forget about us here in New Orleans as you head back to California into law school.
Yeah, thank you. No, I've had a great experience here, and I definitely will be visiting quite often.
Well, I want to thank you for your time today. I want to thank everybody for joining us for this episode of Wave Talk. We look forward to the holidays and wish everyone a great holiday season. And as we come back, we'll plan on episode number 9. But for now, that's all we have, and roll wave.